So let's talk about your training program a little bit and the kind of sessions that you do. So what does a normal week look like for you? Is it all the time in the boat? Do you get a chance to cross train? How many weight sessions? That sort of thing.
It depends a little bit over the weeks. We've got some differences in the schedule. I'd say we mostly row only once a day, and then do cross training in the afternoons. And we both enjoy road cycling a lot. Yeah. And we do weight sessions during the week, afternoons. So it's a bit of a mix, really. But I would say we rarely row twice a day.
Only on training camp, when we're on training camp, like prepping for tournaments, then we row a lot with each other. And sometimes when we have the afternoon, we can do whatever we like, just a minute you have to do. And I can say, like, I'm going for a single to just be with myself and just work on something, technique. Yeah. But I think during the Corona, it's more doing cycling in the afternoon because we weren't allowed to stay at the training center. So you had to go home and then cycling back to the Poznan for another row, and you already did one. That was a bit too much sometimes. So yeah, we preferred cycling. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a session, your favorite training session that you both really like to do? Is it different? And what's the session? What's the session you least like? You least enjoy?
Sprints, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just horrible.
I would say the both of us are not sprinters. So challenging us to do sprints, like short intervals. Yeah, it's never fun, but yeah, I mean it's important so we do them, but that would be firm least favorite.
Oh, that's interesting, because I think one of the things I've noticed about you is you're never up front at 500 meters.
Yes,
that's right.
No, like I think we're both quite similar in terms of like athlete profile, and we're both diesel engines, as in we can go on for a long time. But sprinting is not really our strong point. We're working on it. I think in an elite field you can't be not a sprinter. Like you need to have that extra gear to be able to react to some situations. So you need to have it, but it's not our strong point. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about your favorite session? Is it long? Is it like 30 kilometers steady state or something like that? What's your favorite session then for those diesel engines?
Well, it's not in rowing, but I really enjoy a long ride after the rowing to just get my head a bit, just forget about all the technical stuff. And just that combination works really good for me. Like doing pieces in the morning, and then I get really criticized. Like I just want to get it perfect. And that's not always possible. And then switch to a long ride with teammates or with each other. Then it's a little bit like, okay, it went okay. Tomorrow is another day. Something like that. That's my favorite session. If you accomplish the hard pieces or a good training in a double with lots of focus, and then switch to like, ooh, I get paid to cycle around. Something like that.
Yeah.
And how about you, Ilse? Is it the same for you, or is it something on the water you prefer?
I think I prefer threshold training. So like 4x2K or 2x6K, something like that. In like 24, 26 kind of ratios. I just enjoy like going a bit faster and then just endurance and just smashing it.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I can tell you, it's very
like just emptying the tank in those sessions give me a lot of satisfaction.
Wow, that's interesting. So, Ilse, you were Olympic champion in the double with Maaike Head. How similar or different is this double now with Marieke to your double with Maaike?
I would say what's similar is that we're both very driven. Like Maaike also had a very clear goal in mind and wanted to work really hard for her goals. And I think that's very similar in the doubles. We've got a clear plan and we're ready to commit. It's also, like, for me personally, a lot of difference, because when I went to the Rio Olympics now 4 years ago, I really wasn't that experienced on elite level. It almost happened to me. Of course, like I did my training and etc. But yeah, it like the success almost came earlier to me than I maybe would have expected. So yeah, after the Rio Olympics, from the start, I was there with the program, building for 4 years. So I've been more not only more involved, but also more like part of the program before the Olympics, instead of just coming on to the team 1-2 years prior and then making the boat and then going to the Olympics and then suddenly winning. I'm now very much like involved in the whole process of building a double and building towards the Olympics. So for me, that's a big difference. Yeah.
How has being an Olympic champion changed you, or not?
I don't necessarily think it really changed me. It like the highest goal that you can have as an athlete is done, as in you've accomplished it. So you can also never really go beyond yourself in that way anymore. And for me, that was almost like a relief, as in like I can now quit without anything left open. So for me, that like it's almost like a pressure that fell off, having accomplished that. It also, like, of course, it gave me a bit of confidence as an athlete that I know how to do it. I've done it before, so I could do it again. So of course, I'll take that confidence with me.
And you must have an insane amount of confidence, because I remember you in 2015 at Egberlet back in the C final, which was, you know, I still don't really understand. I know Josi's a good coach and all that. I don't understand how you could put that performance out in 2015 and then turn it around, have to go to qualification, and then you know, be the strong favourite for the Olympics. I mean, what happened?
It was quite a ride, I have to say. No, I think we like seriously underperformed at the 2015 Worlds. Not like maybe that was what we could do at that point, but it was far from our potential. Like leading up to that World Championships, the whole 2015 season, Maaike had some responsibilities in med school still. And I basically was figuring out how to do lightweight rowing. I guess like all lightweight rowers go through this phase where they have to balance your fuel. You need fuel for your training sessions, but you also need to make weight. So having to figure out this whole nutrition and how to take good care of my body as a professional athlete, I think for me was quite a challenge that I learned in that season mostly. So yeah, there was lots of I think we just really underperformed in 2015, and we got a ride to 2016 and lived up to our potential that was already there but not fully explored yet.
Yeah, I mean, on the way to the Olympics, I know you set the world's fastest time in lightweight women's double sculls in Poznan. Yeah. I remember being there. What was that row like? And did you know you were on for a world's best time?
Not at all. No, like it was a complete surprise. Like, of course you've got the stroke coaches, with the speeds on it. So I knew we were quite fast, but no idea that we were that close to the world's best and ended up beating the world's best. Like I only saw that when I was looking to the right, looking at scoreboards, and suddenly I saw 6:47. I was like, wait a second. I wasn't even sure, but I was like, wait a second. I think that might be a world best time.
Yeah.
No, that row was really. It was the last row, last World Cup before the Olympics, and we really even doubted going because we came from the Olympic qualification regatta, and we had only 2 or 3 months up until the Olympics. So we ended up going to do this last race because otherwise the time period would be without racing for quite a long time. Yeah. So we were both quite relaxed, I guess. There's no pressure because we were qualified, and yeah, it was just out of the blue, really.
Yeah. Marieke, I watched a TED talk that you did in 2016. I think maybe there's a picture of you.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah. Can you see that picture?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So it was really interesting there because you said that you definitely had a spark for 2016 and you wanted to be in the Olympics, which I guess, you know, with your then partner, you wanted to take the slot away from Maaike and Ilse.
Yeah. Well, it all happened in 2015 that they didn't qualify, and lots of, I think, media attention blew it a bit up in my eyes. And yeah, we had this spark, and of course I'm an athlete, and Josie asked if I wanted to move to Amsterdam, and I was only I think 17, 18 years old, so that was for me a little bit a big step. I didn't want that, and I said, sorry, I don't think that I will survive being on my own, not living with my mom and stuff like that. So we tried and we failed, but she did good. So and the story, it was a good year. I think I really learned a lot in that year. I think I had a goal and I trained really hard for it, and I really liked that. I think it brought really good parts for everyone. Yeah.
So what do you remember about about Ilse's race? When you where were you watching it? What was your emotions when you were watching it?
I think I had Maaike's. Well, me and Maaike are from the same city and the same rowing club, so I had some contact with her when she fell off her bike as well. They had a bumpy road as well, and she fell off the bike, and me and Maaike always had good contact. Like, okay, she did understand why I wasn't in Amsterdam, and she had her plan, and we had good contact. So I remember, I think I sent to her, well, that's we called it a little bit of a nightmare how it all went. So I said, like, okay, this is a beautiful end of the nightmare. It's a kind of a fairy tale right now. Enjoy it. So yeah. I think I sent that to Maaike, and then at the 2016 World Championships, they were also there, and Maaike said to me, like, we say in Dutch, "Eind goed, al goed." Yeah, that's a Dutch sentence. Like, in the end, everyone was happy. Everyone was having a gold medal, and yeah, I was happy. I was still living in Rotterdam. I enjoyed it. I finished my high school, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ilse, I'd like you to talk a little bit about your Olympic final. I've got some pictures of that race. You must have watched it quite a few times.
Not that often, honestly.
It's quite difficult to find on YouTube. It doesn't come up straightforward.
No, it's true. There's the only video of the Olympics and the lightweight rowing is like the celebrations. They come out so many times, and you've missed the whole race. It's a bit of a disappointment. And I think we've also tried to get Olympics to upload it, but hasn't succeeded so far.
Do you remember that when you were sitting on the start there, what was going through your mind? Because you were the fastest in the heat in the semi-finals, I think. Yeah,
we were. We were unbeaten at that point all season, which was quite the ride, as I said before. I guess we've trained to race in a way, as in we went over the plan, we've executed our plan in racing. We've adjusted when necessary. So really, all was done before this race already. As in, we just knew how to do it basically. And we scaled it down from something that's really big and scary, like the Olympic final, to something that's really quite simple. Just row from A to B as fast as you can. As in, that's really oversimplification maybe, but like we were certain of what we could do. We were certain of how we we're going to do it, and we trained to do that. So I guess that race was just like the culmination of what worked before. It wasn't like that race itself wasn't really anything spectacular in terms of performance or effort. That's how it felt, at least. Like we just did what we had to do.
Yeah. So you weren't in the lead at 250 meters. You weren't in the lead at I think you were third through 500 meters, just under a second behind.
Yeah.
the Chinese and South Africans, and so you were never bothered during that race, or were you thinking, oh, this is getting a bit hard, or this is not the way we want it to go?
Not really. As in, I think Mike and I never went out in front at 500 meters. We were also a bit like we were in the back, but a little bit on the back. I think our strong point really was the second 1,000 meters. So I felt relatively comfortable until up until the point of like 1,000 meters. If you're in contact then and you feel you've got the power and the will to go for it. As in, I knew as a bow, I knew I had an extra engine in front of me that I could turn on when I wanted it. And the moment we did that and moved away from the front, from the 1,000 meters, I knew we had it in the back, basically.
So were you making the calls, Ilse, in the boat?
Yeah.
So what did you say to Maaike at that point in the race?
I just went through a normal routine, basically, as in just it's really, really quite boring, but it was basically all like we practiced most of it. So I didn't do anything unexpected at that point. I just gave I called the push, wanting more speed, and we both went for it and got the boat speed up. And from that point on, you're just like making small adjustments, maybe like you feel what's happening in the boat, and you try to react to that. So I've made a few like small technical calls, I think, in the last 1,000 meters, and of course, like the last 250, the only thing I was screaming was yes, yes, yes every 10 strokes. I think, just
really?
getting my enthusiasm across. Yeah.
you look like you're working quite hard there. I think that's maybe by far not my best rowing or our best rowing in general. But I guess if there's a place to do it, it's the last 250. If you're in front, at least. Yeah. And the swimmers at the end, was that did your partner swim out? Was he out there?
Yes. Both our partners were out there, and our spare at the time, Lisa Werner, was there, and some other of our club members swam out to us, which was really, really nice. It just is it's a tradition, and it's coming when you win, and it's really quite fun to celebrate that way. Yeah. It's really quite fun. Yeah.
And where do you keep your medal?
Not something special. It's like in the box that we got with it somewhere in a set of drawers.
Yeah, I keep mine in the top drawer.
Yeah, it doesn't come out very often. Sometimes for like presentations maybe or some clinics, but it's not something I look at every day.
Now let's talk about the way you rowed, because that was a beautiful double scull. The way that the two of you sync together, and you're with the same coach now with Josie. So what are you trying to do to move the boat? Where do you feel the rhythm? What are the things that make you a great double scull?
I think like one of my it's almost a cliche, but always what I try and say is that you in a double you don't want 1 + 1 is a double. You want something extra, so you have to find together. You have to find some like extra spark or extra something that brings and bring that to the table, basically. And that might be different. Like it is different between Maaike and Marieke in that case, but I guess that's the basis.
Okay, so why are you sat the way round you are? So why are you in the stroke seat, Ilse, and why is Marieke in the bow seat?
That's actually quite a funny question, because we both prefer to be the other way around, but it just doesn't work. I really, really much prefer to be in the bow seat, and Marieke prefers to be in the stroke seat. And we try it sometimes, and then every time we come to the conclusion, like it's not working. Or we should maybe try it again. No, but like from preferences aside, I think maybe what's important that if you're in that position, like if I'm in the stroke seat, what I think of is like, how can I do my job the best, basically? Like, why am I in this seat at this moment, and what can I bring to be the best stroke I can be? So.